So I just finished Shrinking on Apple TV, and there's a lot of chatter talking about what this series is kind of focusing on. And I think it is about some of the things they're saying, but I think at the core, it's about something else. Shrinking Season 1 is all about Jimmy Laird, the character played by Jason Segel, who's a therapist going through his own personal struggles, but still trying to see patients. In an interview, he said something really interesting about it. He said, "It's about a therapist who's going through a nervous breakdown privately while continuing to try to see patients." I think we're at this moment where, and I think he's kind of saying this late COVID, whether we realize it or not, we're all collectively grieving this idea that we've lost something we're not going to get back, whether it's an actual loved one or just this time, the past few years, our normalcy. So I think this show helps us all collectively work through this sense that something's gone awry. It's easy to view your therapist just as an authority figure who knows the best for you, but they're also just a human being going through their own struggles and adversities and rock bottoms just like you are. So that's the fun of the show, is to peek behind that curtain and realize the person advising you may be a mess as well. And this show is fun. It's charming. There's a lot of laughs. There's serious moments, but it is something that you'll end wishing there was more. So Jason Segel's wife dies tragically in a car wreck about a year before we pick up on Season 1, Episode 1. So yeah, it's about grief, but if you go deeper, we're really talking about gratitude. Maybe even if you had gratitude and you're grieving, you're still going to wish that you had more of it, that maybe that you'd appreciated the time more. Even though there was no way that you really could have, you're still going to think that, I think. And so that's why I think at the core level, it's really about gratitude. And I'm going to give you one example that happens towards the end where I think that's really the overarching message here. So one of Jimmy's colleagues in the same practice is Paul, played by Harrison Ford. And so there's something really interesting about that character. It's been said that Paul might be based on Jonah Hill's actual therapist, Phil Stutz, in real life, subject of the Netflix documentary Stutz. Apparently Ford met with Stutz when researching his character for Shrinking. And kind of an interesting thing here, Stutz in real life has Parkinson's, and Paul's character has Parkinson's as well. You really kind of see Paul grapple with gratitude. He's kind of a grumpy curmudgeon, and towards the end, there's a little bit of dialogue that's almost the last thing in the first season, a discussion between Paul and Jimmy, where Jimmy had just finished marrying his best friend and he gave a speech, and Paul's telling him how much he likes the speech. And you can really get a sense that gratitude plays a huge role here. Paul says to Jimmy, "I liked what you said up there," referring to his speech, "about helping others to help ourselves." Jimmy, "I think that's probably why we do it, right?" Paul, "Still, I mean, all that crazy shit you did with patients, I'm surprised you didn't burn the whole practice down." Jimmy, "Let's be honest, I got really lucky." Paul, he looks at him very warmly and finally says, "So did I." And they clink glasses. So to me, right there, that's a heavy moment pointing right in the direction of gratitude. You've got Paul, who's kind of a curmudgeon throughout the series, and even him at the end is opening up saying, "Listen, we're therapists in Pasadena, California. The sun's always shining. Our houses aren't cheap. We're at a wedding. People are happy. They're dancing. Who knows what's going to happen after this? We've had a lot of big things to deal with, but right now we've got it good. Let's just enjoy the moment, clink glasses, and appreciate what we have."